Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. We are connected now more than ever, thanks to the internet and smart devices. But in this evolving digital world, keeping information secure can seem challenging. Here to tell us about cybersecurity is Dr. Marc Hoit, NC State's Vice Chancellor for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer. And Dr. Hoit, thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.
Would you mind just giving us a little bit of your background?
Wow. So was hired in 2008 at NC State when they combined a bunch of different units in order to have a single Chief Information Officer and Vice Chancellor. So I was honored to be able to get this position. It's kind of fun. So it's been an interesting ride since 2008, bringing units together and helping to form a cohesive and coherent IT process on campus. Before that, I was at the University of Florida for 24 years, and I'm a civil engineering faculty member, so I taught structural engineering for 24 years before this.
Well, I know we're going to talk about cybersecurity, but could you give us just a little bit about, well, what is it that exactly you do at NC State? What are some of your responsibilities? Sounds like a lot.
That may be the same thing some of my folks on campus ask. So I manage all of the information technology for campus, the phones, the student systems for registration for courses, the classrooms that have technology in them, the financial systems, the internet, the phone systems, pretty much everything that technology uses. I don't manage research projects, but even that's moving over because of the security issues that need to be handled.
Well, let's talk about that. Security issues for the average person. I think I fall into that category. We hear a lot about cybersecurity. For a facility like NC State and others, it's got to be a big issue. But for the guy at home watching right now, can you just give us kind of an overview? What is cybersecurity? What does that really mean?
So it's the protection of your digital information, I think, is probably the best way. We use devices to connect and show our information, share our information, communicate with other people. And it's the data, and as you've seen if you read the news and read what's going on, data is the new valuable commodity. You read about all the Facebooks and the Googles and the Microsofts, and they get value in their large corporations because of that data. Uber uses data in order to get you to and from with your rides. So it's all about the data, and then as converse, it's all about protecting it. And so cybersecurity is about protecting that data and the devices that access that data, so you keep the parts you want to share out there and the parts you don't want to share protected.
For the average person like me, I mean, I don't think I have a lot of stuff online, but I mean, it is really quite amazing how much information, whether it be, I guess, if I'm on Facebook or maybe at the store buying something, it's just amazing how much data they have on me. What do I do?
So there are some basic things you need to do. Your information is everywhere, and watching more and more of the things you do. We all have credit cards, all those transactions and where you're at and where you're using them. Your cell phone, it has to talk to the tower, so every time you move and where you're at, your cell phone knows where you are and where you're going. That's how Google Maps work. If you didn't know that, when you look at traffic congestion, it's because all of the phones are talking to the map and telling it how many people are on that same road and the congestion. So the data and the collections are immense and going on everywhere. Now, what do you do about that? Well, if you don't want to share anything, you get rid of Facebook, you get rid of your Google account, you don't have an account, but that's not really practical. We all need to communicate. We love to send pictures to our grandchildren and communicate with our children and talk and share. So a couple of protections are pretty easy. One is you never share anything that you wouldn't want in the old school version in the front page of the newspaper, but more importantly, you wouldn't want to see it online in some big expose. That's something you never do online because you never know where it's going. You do read about the breaches and the things that happen, and it's kind of scary. I could make it more scary if you wanted me to, but I tend not to do that.
No, I trust you. If you say it's scary, it's scary.
Yeah, there's some interesting things. But so doing that, your computer, that's one of the simple ways, and your devices, but keep them current. If you get annoyed when it says it's time to reboot because you have to update, or have you updated and do all those kind of things, the answer is yes, you should. That's one of the the easiest ways for people to get into your computer. Another one is your password. We were joking when we walked first up and said, change my password, don't make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every year they do a showing of all the most common passwords, and that still, despite all the news and the publicity, is one of them. So use a different password, but the hardest one that people don't realize is, so you buy a router, you get something from your service provider, Spectrum or AT&T or Google or whoever you use, and you don't change the password that comes with that device. And that's one of the ways that the hackers and the thieves get in and get access to your equipment, is those default passwords.
Who are these people? I mean, I'm serious. I mean, who are these cyber criminals? Sometimes I hear, well, I don't know, they're somewhere in Yugoslavia or somewhere that are hacking, but typically, who are they, and what are they after?
So there are three main categories that we look at when we look at cybersecurity. They're the nation states. In the news, probably you hear about Russia, you hear about China, you hear about Iran, you hear about North Korea, but there are others. There are lots of them, and so they're very organized. Usually use military resources, and most of the time are trying. Generally are not looking at financial gain, they're generally looking at spying, security, those types of things. There are large organized crime entities. They're looking to steal money, and that's an easy way to get money. So they look at that. And then there are the much smaller groups. They're everything from teenagers. You can, unfortunately, for $50, buy online hacking tools and turn them on and start trying to hack. So for not much money, you can do that. So and those are not the ones we worry a lot about. Those are the ones that get into your passwords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they're in. And then so it's in between there. And then there are some serious hacking groups. They're more like the organized crime that work together to try and do those things. And so kind of three categories that we look at. We worry mostly about that middle group. The nation states, if you spend billions of dollars to try and get into systems, they're probably not coming after your home system or your Apple Watch or your local computer. It's the organized crime or the hacking groups that are generally trying to steal funds or fund illegal activities and those types of things.
Well, there's a lot more to talk about, there really is. So don't you go away. Dr. Hoit will be back to tell us how he protects NC State. Stick around.